Hey everyone, PJ back with Watch Trading Academy, and today we are talking about how to guarantee you are not going to get scammed buying your next watch. So one of the most popular concepts in the Watch Trading Academy course, which again can be bought literally by clicking the link in the description of this video, I teach my students step by step how to avoid not only getting a fake watch, but also putting themselves in a bad situation and buying a watch that perhaps doesn't even exist or sending money to the wrong person. And today, while I'm not going to share with you all the strategies I used to do that, I'm going to give you 3 very quick and effective ways to get rid of any bad players in the game and really understand if the person selling you the watch indeed not only has the watch, but is going to be reputable of doing business with. So there are 3 key ways a normal individual can protect themselves from being scammed on the internet when buying a watch. Because as we know, not only can you get scammed from buying a fake, but you're going to see scammed by sending someone money for a watch they didn't previously own and just simply listed photos of, or you simply don't know who someone is and maybe they are pretending to be someone to receive money and then will disappear on you. So these are very common practices that occur obviously in the world of scams, and these practices are there to have people like us basically be prepared for and to be able to counter these scams. So the number one and best trick I have when it comes to buying a watch from someone you don't know is to actually verify that the watch is in their possession at that moment. And there's a couple of things you can do, and one of the tricks I like to do is to ask for someone to send me a pic of the watch, but either wearing it in a certain manner or having it do something specific. So what do I mean by that? I would tell them, for example, I would like you to take your watch, set it to, you know, whatever time I want them to set it to, and then I want you to hold it up like this and take a photo so I can see that indeed the watch is in your hand. Another trick to that is obviously to ask them to write on a piece of paper, you know, like today's date, their name, next to the watch, but that can be photoshopped. So if you have a really good Photoshop expert, that can take time. But the main thing here that I like is showing that basically the watch is in their possession, and then carefully paying attention to photo to ensure 1, it's the same watch, and 2, not a fake or something different that you were previously pitched. And 2, also gives me one more indicator to having maybe their face in the video or in the photo to show me that they're real. And again, not the guy that they're going to send you the ID of later is going to not match the picture you got, right? This is important too, because obviously when you're doing business with someone and you're going to wire them a large amount of money, you may want to get a copy of their ID. And if they are scared to send you that, perhaps you shouldn't do business with them. But one of the things you can do is by taking a picture of their ID and getting that other photo, you can kind of match, does that make sense or not? The main thing you're looking for during this trick is to ensure the speed of which this is executed matters just as much. If you've asked for this photo at 2 p.m. and you're not receiving it till 10 or 11 p.m., and there's no real explanation such as the photos and the watch is in my vault, I'll get it later this evening, or someone is basically buying time and 2 days later to send you this, it tells you that there's something fishy going on. Maybe they had to go get the watch, they don't actually own the watch, they was at their friend's house, and so on and so forth. So it does create yet another red flag. A second way we can basically take care of that red flag is what we call a Facetime verification, or some type of digital content such as Zoom or Skype to get on a video call with the person and not only be able to see who they are, but also be able to see them with the watch in hand, and that it is real and physically there. It's able to then be brought closer to the camera or to the phone so that again you can get a good glimpse of, is this the same watch I was promised and does it look correct? Usually if a card photo is sent, we ask that they also have that in hand so you can again match the 2 things and ensure everything makes sense. And the third and final piece that you can use to protect yourself is what I call the reference check, but it's a little bit trickier than just asking someone for their references. The majority of people will simply go to someone's reference and say, well, send me people you've done business with, and someone will include 3 to 4 different numbers, and then as a result of these 3 different phone numbers of references they've sent over, then what ends up occurring is that these particular individuals, where you don't necessarily know who they are, but you feel more comfortable because they've done business before. But I go one step further than that when asking for reference checks from unknown people. I ask them for not only who the reference is, but what the transaction was. So for example, someone will tell me, well, here's the names of 3 people that bought a watch from me in the past, and here is John here who, what did he do with you? Oh, he bought an AP this guy bought that, and so on and so forth. And what I will do is I will call those references and I will do the same due diligence I did on the watch purchase with the guy that's selling me the watch with these references as well, checking the phone numbers against Google, trying to understand what state these people live in, but also something really interesting that I do that I think a lot of people don't do. Not only do I Google those people to see if it makes sense, but when I call them, I actually check to make sure that all the phone numbers I was given were not like Google voice numbers or weird numbers or anything else, but rather real phone numbers, right? Like I get if one is, but not all three, right? In addition to that, I also lied to them about what they said they had purchased from that person. So I'll call the person and say, hey, John here, who's selling me a watch, has told me that he previously sold you a Hublot when John had told me that he previously sold him an AP. And this enables them to basically correct me and say, no, sorry, I never bought a Hublot from John, I bought an AP. I'd be like, okay, great, so it's a real reference, right? Versus the other way would also be to, if they were like, yeah, sounds right, that's what he sold me, but it's not true, then it starts to make you question again how valid those references are as well. And remember, in the world of watch trading, you have to protect your money more than anything else, so it becomes very dangerous to just send out just send out money to someone without knowing much about them. I remember when I bought my first Richard Mille ever, I bought it from a gentleman in New York, and he owned a sneaker company. And I thought to myself, and I said, well, he seems to be a big shot in New York, etc. But I remember calling his work, calling his the lobby of his residence, and so on and so forth, and even asking him if the phone number matched, asking his reference if phone numbers matched to what they had on file, and eventually, at the end of it, while it seemed to be a gruesome process and very, very detailed process going through something that may have made the person selling even uncomfortable or run away, the person actually told me something really incredible. They said, you know what, I'm really glad you did that because it shows me that you're a real buyer as much as I'm a real seller, so it helps protect both of us. So if you wouldn't have done that, I would have seen it more as a red flag. Perhaps your money wasn't good enough to buy the watch either. So, people realize that when you're doing large wire transactions, there's going to be a concept of fear and trust that needs to be basically broken down to these little concepts you can use to help yourself get to the next stage. So hopefully you found this helpful and can use this information to save yourself from having a big mistake happen. We've had a lot of people that have lost big money not following these basic procedures and just trying to do it based on their gut feeling, but I strongly recommend against that. Now, what I will tell you is if you want to learn more on how to successfully and more importantly effectively trade luxury watches or invest in them, make sure you again click the link in the description to either take the free training or join Watch Trading Academy so that you're not left with major losses. So please do that, and again, let me know if you have a strategy you use in the comments to validate people and see if they're real or not. Hope you've enjoyed the content, and so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll catch you on the next video for Watch Trading Academy.